Hello, hello, hello. It is a Sunday morning here where I am, and I was looking at the wrong camera, so I got to get used to this. So I wonder if I can have a big thing that says the lights are on, because unfortunately the camera lights are always on, but I don't know which one is active. Anyway, this is Travel the World as a Speaker. I'm your host, Phylecia Jones, and today we're going to talk about getting into private parties. Now, this is an interesting one because I didn't realize this until I started traveling, while I was traveling while speaking, is that they give you, if it's a quality event, here's the difference. If it's a quality event, they usually do a party the night before. And to be honest, that's where I've gotten all of my clients from when I go out and speak. So I'm never really worried about, when people say they speak for free or whatever. Me working the parties and everything like that in the little private rooms just for speakers, that is where my magic is. And I'm going to talk to you about that as well, because sometimes it's just a lot of fun to have a smaller party at a bigger conference. And people are just a little bit looser, especially other speakers, the vendors. Everybody's a little bit more relaxed, because it's so funny when you see them the next day, they're just like, oh, like, I'm going to act like I didn't know you from last night. Like, we didn't do anything. We just sat at a table eating little sausages. So we're going to talk about getting into private parties. One of the interesting little perks when you are traveling, when you are leveraging speaking to travel the world. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, for everyone who is joining Travel the World as a speaker, we talk a little bit about travel, something that I absolutely love, and how you can leverage your talent, your skill, your message of speaking to travel the world with it. I've done it for not last year, but but for about 5 years before that. A lot of the speaking that I did was so that I could travel. And I just want to give you a couple of tips. And this show is brought to you by iFind You Close. Now, iFind You Close is a service where we go out and research. We do all the work for you. Seriously, we do the research, and we deliver speaking opportunities to you every Monday. Every Monday, you have a new batch of speaking opportunities, and when you sign up, you will get access to the other 240, 250, whatever is in there, opportunities that are looking for speakers just like you. And the cool thing that we've just added over to iFind You Close is we have a community forum, because we do so much research and we come across so many opportunities. Now we actually post them in our community forum. So, so anything that'll help you grow your business or travel. So scholarships, grants, jobs, we're starting to post those in the community forum whenever we come across them, because I come across these things all the time when I'm in my research mode, and I can't do anything with it if I don't share it. So, it's useless to me to just hold on to it for myself. So we're going to start putting that over there for everyone who's joining. And of course, if you have any questions about anything that we do today, all you got to do is put it in the comment box, because I'm going to tell you a travel story. Am I going to tell you a travel story? I don't know. I'm just going to tell you some of the perks. Now, this is going to be a little bit of travel story, a little bit partying, because I'm so not a party girl. And it's not really going to be about speaking. So I'm just going to tell you some of the benefits that come from this. So yeah, I think that's the best way to frame this. Now, what we're going to talk about today is, if you look over in the top right, up here, getting into private parties is one of the perks of traveling the world while speaking. To be honest, it's just one of the perks of speaking. Now, when I first started doing this, so I started doing a lot of local speaking gigs, and the whole thing was to convert people into my business. And you get to hear my creaky chair, sorry. And the whole goal was to convert people into my business, and it worked, and it really worked. I would go the day of, hang out with the people, and then come back home. Now, when I started going to bigger conferences, which required me to travel for them, I didn't realize that they had this other little element of like having a party or a special party just for the speakers and the vendors. And my mind was blown. I was like, what is this little madness? So they keep it secret until maybe like the day before or when you get there. And then they tell you like where you're going to meet in these really cool locations. Sometimes depending on the event. Now I have to stress here, it has to be a quality event. If it's a event you won't get this type of treatment. But if it's a quality event and they value their speakers, even if you're not getting paid, you can still get into these parties. And for the really cool events, you get to have a party at a different location or like some secret meeting room at the hotel. And then they will shuttle you to the big party. So sometimes what you have at these conferences, they'll have a party or a mingle or something for everybody attending. And sometimes like either a few hours before, they'll have a little separate party just for the speakers, the vendors, and the sponsors. And then they'll shuttle you off to the regular party. Is so darn cool. Now, for some other ones, they just have a special room. They have a special room just for the speakers, vendors, and sponsors. And so they'll have the party the day before or a dinner the day before or something like that. But also they'll have a special room just for the speakers. And it's either you can go and hang out. I've been into some of them where and it's not the VIP room, so you get access to the VIP room and the speakers room. And sometimes they have like a masseuse there, special food for you all day, plugs for your computer, or like quiet hours or quiet sections so you can work. It is pretty darn cool. And the reason why I like this is because, you know, if you go to a conference and there's like 1,500 people, you know, that's a lot of people, or bigger. So they will make the conference smaller just for you as a speaker. So if you are an introvert or you're kind of shy, but you like getting on stage, this is like the best time to network, because it's hard to network around 1,500 people. I mean, seriously, they got germs and things. Uh, so when they make it smaller for you, now you have the opportunity to hang out with the vendors, make some really interesting connections, get clients. I'm just telling you, like, that has been my secret little mojo for getting clients over the last few years. Now, of course, the business is all around helping speakers. So for me, being in the room of other speakers, oh, heck yes, like magic for me. But it's also really good for those of you who are looking for other speaking gigs. This is how I have landed my other speaking gigs, just from getting the gig so I could travel, to get into the room, to meet the people, and then I make connections and I make friends, and boom, there you go. I have done this quite a few times. So I always say one speaking gig will lead to another one, but you can't be a diva about it. Oh my God. So many people are divas. They were like, I don't have time to go to your party. I don't have time to hang out with people. Cool. Fine. You leave, because it's more for me. And some of these parties have been really, really cool. You know, if you do like to drink, you can drink with some of the people. If you don't, I've never been in a situation where if you are a non-drinker or a non-alcoholic drinker, nobody pressures you. I mean, come on, like, that is so like 1992, really. Nobody pressures you, and you're free to just kind of relax. Because one thing that happens with speakers, remember, we're being put up on the stage as experts. I know my hands are moving a lot because I'm really excited. We're being put up on stage as experts, so we can't really show a soft or vulnerable side in front of the potential audience, because we don't want people to question our knowledge or our judgment or anything like that. But when you're in a room full of other speakers, and if you're not trying to be like, you know, I'm, you know, Tony Stark, and I'm, you know, or Captain Marvel or something, you can kind of relax a little bit, because everybody knows, I mean, these people are just regular folks like you. So you get to kind of relax and share some tips and some, got tips and hacks and things. I will say, being a part of these little private parties or private events before the bigger event with just speakers, I've gotten so many great coaching tips, money making tips, because this is kind of where everybody is a little freer to kind of give out and dish out advice. And I've met people who have bigger platforms than me. I know probably some of the bigger people. I met like Pat Flynn. We sat down at a table at one of the conferences together. He was one of the other speakers, and they had a special room just for us. And, you know, and we were just sitting down, and I think this was before he was doing his live event. So we were just talking about doing a live event and being nervous and all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. And then I think maybe a year later he did his live event, or a few months later or something like that. So good for him. But you get to kind of meet some of these people, and, you know, if you don't fanboy or fangirl over them, which I don't do very well at all, because my thing is, you know, we're all just pretty much the same people trying to figure it out. But you can kind of have some relaxing conversations. And I've met some other people who were much bigger platforms, and we're just sitting there hanging out. They want to know, the color of your shoes. Where'd you get this? Oh my gosh, how did you do that? You've been live streaming every day. It's a really cool thing. So one of the things, so the biggest thing I've gotten out of getting into these private parties, and I've tried to stress this for a lot of people, and a lot of people still don't connect the dots here. One of the benefits of traveling, of speaking at a larger conference or event, no matter if you travel for it or not, is that you get these little special perks. You get a smaller room, you get to hang out with the other speakers. And if it's a smaller-ish event, what they will do is do a dinner with all of the speakers. And so you kind of get a chance to meet everybody. You can kind of see, and I've always thought it was interesting, like, oh, you get to see the people who are like really nervous, or the people who are really quiet, and then they get on stage and then they just like boom, and it's like, wow, didn't see that coming. Or the talkative people, and then they get in, like, really nervous before. So but it's always a really cool experience. I've had quite a few very nice meals from these private parties. I've made a lot of friends, and a lot of the friends in a lot of the people that I've met are other people that run events as well. So it makes it easier for me. If I go and shine on stage and I do a great job, they always ask you to come and help them out with something, be a part of their event, be on stage, getting these MC gigs, other podcast interviews. So it really does help. It really does help. And it helped me last year because I think I've been pretty honest. Like 2020 was a very challenging year as a business owner, as just a human, and just seeing everything that's going on. I had to kind of pare things down quite a bit for the business. We were still going, but it was just like, you know what, we got to run on the juice that we already have, because nobody has any other bandwidth to create new juice. But the thing that really helped, as far as the speaking and still bringing in more clients or building, just staying relevant with my authority, is all of these people that I've met over the last few years at these private parties, at these private dinners. This is how I was able to keep my calendar filled with about 24 speaking gigs last year, all virtual. I had some in the first part, that very small first chunk of the year, where they were in person, but that kept everything going from all these people I've met over the years at these events. And they were like, hey, are you still talking about this? Can you come do this for us? And, one of my bigger contracts from last year, not my bigger contracts, but one of the contracts that I'm really excited about came from somebody I met at an event at one of these private parties, and just sitting around talking and having fun. At least that's what I do. I see a lot of people who are very stiff at these things, but it's like, just relax, have fun. These are just humans, and they're really cool people. And, you don't go in necessarily with an agenda. You just go in to just kind of hang out and just kind of, fill out the room and see who's there and see who's willing to talk to you. And it has been quite fun. I mean, that's all I can really say. It has been a lot of fun. I tend to go to quite a few different type of conferences. So when I go to the travel conferences, they have a really good speaker and sponsor dinner or party. I mean, because it's all travel related. Oh my gosh, those are probably the most fun ones. When I've gone to the financial conferences, because they have more money and they have a lot more money that they could set aside for a bigger party for all the speakers, that has been cool. I mean, a really cool experience. The other ones, when they give you the private room to just kind of relax, you get the masseuse, you can get to work, you get the special food. So that's a neat thing, so that you don't have to always go up to your room. Just like as if you were a regular attendee, you can go hang out and meet some of these other folks. For the corporate type events, now their parties are a little different, because remember, I'm not there as a coworker and they're still there with coworkers, so they're kind of very reserved. but you get to go in and meet some of the people and get an idea of what's going on in their jobs. And this is also a great way to update your talk of like, hey, I like this, but have you ever thought about this? And have you thought about this? And you get people that will ask you questions. So those parties, they're not as fun as like the other conference parties, but they're still pretty cool because they take care of you. So I would just say one of the benefits, if you're definitely looking to leverage speaking to travel, this is a benefit. This is hands down a benefit. This is being able to hang out with other people that can get you where you want to go, being able to hang out with people that are just fun, have a very new experience, because some of these events, they will kind of, not a cultural experience. Sometimes it is. It's like a cultural, depending on what type of event you go to, they'll do something very, very special just for the speakers so that it kind of turns into a cultural event and you get to learn something new, hear something new. And that's the other thing. A lot of these events, they will offer some very interesting coaching, access to their private online groups. It is amazing. That's all I can say. It is hands down one of the, I don't know, one of the favorite things that I like to do. And, just hanging out and meeting so many people from so many different parts of the world, especially if you're doing a lot of speaking in the United States, you get to meet some eclectic and interesting people, and you will make friends for life. I have to tell you, my podcast, Humans Exhaust Me, this was one of those experiences. After an event, going out to dinner, it wasn't necessarily a private party, but just being open to hanging out. And, now we have a podcast together. But I love it. I absolutely love it. And if you are, if you're kind of wanting some photos with celebrities in your industry, this is a great time to get that stuff. So this is all I have for you. I just wanted to tell you one of the perks of speaking and is getting into these private parties. And yeah, I mean, that's it. You get into a private party, you get to have fun. If you're doing this for business, I mean, hands down, you will be able to convert business. The other thing that I've done at these parties is, if you're really trying to work with somebody, you convince them to come to your session. That is, I've always used those types of events to kind of even remarket my session at the event. Hey, make sure you come to my session. We're going to talk about this. And it also helps me as a speaker if I know somebody and they come. Not that I can pick on them, but it's like I can talk to somebody like, hey, I met a friend the other day. We were talking about this. It really helps me as a speaker when I can make a connection and I can talk to somebody in the audience. That's just how I speak, because it gets a little weird when I haven't met anybody. And I mean, I can still do well, but it makes things a lot easier if I know a couple of people, and you could definitely do that at these parties. So with that, you should go after speaking so that you can travel and go to parties. Lots of free tacos. I love them. Lots of cool dinners. Lots of, open bar stuff, if that's your thing. Lots of desserts. I mean, I've gone to some of these parties and they just had like the bomb ass desserts, and it was like, whoa, I want more dessert. Yeah, desserts and tacos. That's me. And it's so funny. My husband pulled out ground beef today, so I think we're going to be having tacos this week. Yay! All right, folks, that means it's time for me to go. I hope this was just a little fun. So this is just me taking a little bit of time to tell you about some of the benefits of being able to travel and speak. And you know what? If this is definitely something you want to do, just hang out with us here. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to give you more ways that you can, leverage this whole thing and have fun. And of course, go check out iFind You Close. We deliver these speaking opportunities, and there are events that have scheduled. They're on the schedule to go live over the next year. The end of this year into next year. So we can get back to this. And I have a feeling because we've been all at home, kind of like sequestered, not being able to like be free. Folks are going to throw amazing parties. You just watch me. I promise you, the parties are going to be off the hook starting in 2022 and 2023. Definitely 2023. With that, take care of yourself. I will see you tomorrow.